I want to read a few of the comments of our listeners and viewers and readers around the world that came in at democracynow.org. On electoral politics, Gordon Brown, a teacher in Switzerland, asked, who do you believe would make the best next president of the United States? Leslie Bonnet of California writes, will Cindy join the Green Party, which has steadfastly advocated for peace and against invasion of Iraq? Will Cindy consider running as presidential or vice presidential nominee with the Green Party? Barbara and Graham Dean said, what can all of us in peace and justice movement do now to give you back your hope that we can indeed change the dangerous course this government has forced upon this country? And they asked, would you consider running for Congress? Paul said, given what you've described as the corruption and deception that exist in both the Republican and the Democratic political parties, and how the huge appropriations of money for defense contractors have become such a force in the U.S. economy, do you have any hope we will return to being a nation that stands for right instead of being a nation that has to have something to fight? And another listener, viewer, John Stauber, says, what is your opinion of Move On and the role it played in the recent congressional debate over war funding? Take your pick.
Well, of course, I'm not going to run for election. I'm very disillusioned with our political system. If we don't wake up in America and realize that we have to vote out of our courage and integrity for candidates who reflect our own beatitudes and not the beatitudes of the war machine and the corporations, we're doomed. And if we don't get a viable third party, or some people say second party, you know, the Democrats and Republicans are so similar and their pockets are lined by the same people, our representative republic is doomed, where, you know, George Bush has assumed all the powers to himself and Congress has given him those powers. And we really need an opposition party in this country. But we vote out of our fear. We go and we vote for the lesser of two evils, and we always end up getting somebody evil. And, you know, I say evil not in the, you know, the Christian sense of the word. But, you know, I do believe that. I'm not going to join any party. If I do vote again, and if I do become, you know, politically active, it will be independent, and I'm not going to, of course, run for anything, be in the system. I have been asked by the Green Party to run for president, but, you know, that's not anything that I want. And I know John Stauber, he has been struggling against Move On. I was really upset with Move On, and plus with the corporate media who were characterizing Move On as the anti-war left in America, which was just really, for people who are on the inside, know how hilarious that is. So I think that Move On has a lot of resources, and they should be trying to represent, you know, truly represent the opposition, to, instead of being, you know, so tied in with the Democratic Party, to really represent the views of the left.
Cindy Sheehan, what do you think are the greatest successes of the peace movement so far? And then, of course, what you want to see changed?
Well, you know, I think that we did an incredible job of educating America about causing a debate, really, in this country about the Iraq War that didn't exist before August of '05. It didn't exist in a public way before August of '05, and the shift in the country has been enormous. Again, you know, to being against George Bush and against the war, when it was overwhelmingly in favor of it. And we thought we were doing something good when we elected Democrats. We thought that we were electing them to change the way things are going, not for this, to keep the status quo. And I think that we've been very successful in raising awareness. Where things have to go now, and, you know, I've been saying this for a long time, is that we have to be willing to put our bodies on the line for peace and justice. That, you know, we can't work on short-term Band-Aids. We need true solutions to the problem, to this corruptness, to this stranglehold the corporations have on our government. And we can't just put Band-Aids on them. Like ending the Vietnam War was major, but people left the movement. It was an anti-war movement. They didn't stay committed to true and lasting peace, and that's what we really have to do.
Cindy Sheehan, we have 15 seconds. I have the sense, as you talk, that you're not actually leaving even as a public face of the movement, but stepping back perhaps for a few months, a few weeks to regroup. Is that accurate?
Well, and we are, what I like to think about is like we're closing down the factory, we're going to retool, and we're going to open up, and it'll be a new and improved version of it. But we are definitely going to come at it from a totally different direction.
Cindy Sheehan, I want to thank you for being with us, co-founder of Gold Star Families for Peace, speaking to us from, well, near her home. She's in Sacramento, California.